Good evening. Welcome along to Thursday night, Thursday the 10th of June 2021. Welcome along to tonight's United Kingdom Talk, coming to you from Bracknell in Royal Berkshire, boys and girls, on another beautiful day. How was it where you were? Was it nice? Did you, it was a bit cloudy this morning. Did anyone see the solar eclipse? No, it wasn't me. Wasn't me standing in front of the sun. Ha 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 ha. Wasn't me standing in. Did anyone see the solar eclipse? If you looked at the sun directly, you're probably blind by now. But don't worry, you can get just as much entertainment by just listening to this worldwide famous spectacle known as United Kingdom Talk. But did anyone see it at all? I thought it would have gone a bit darker, but actually I don't think I really noticed anything different at all. I remember the eclipse, I think 1999, was it? 1999? I remember that one. Yeah, me and my neighbour, Pearl, who's 2 doors down, me, door, Pearl. Is that 3 doors down or 2? Me, door, Pearl. So there's 4 of us all together. Me, someone else, Pearl. And there's 2 doors in between. So is that 2 doors down or 3 doors down? I find this very confusing. I find life confusing, to be honest. And I remember that day and I was standing outside and she came out to have a look and we watched it together and it just went eerily dark. And all the birds stopped singing. Thank God for that. I wish the magpies would shut their mouths out from round here whenever they see a cat. All the bleeding time. Bleeding noise. Whenever they see a cat, especially if a cat gets one of them, they go bleeding mad. Screaming their little heads off. All round the place all the time. Most annoying. Anyway, I hope you had a nice day today, gang. I think we may have found out what we had a problem with the internet on, what day is it? It's Thursday, isn't it? We had a problem with the internet, as you well know, on Tuesday's show. We kept losing the download speed. The uploads. The download speed was perfectly all right. It was the upload speed kept disappearing. I need... now, let me explain this so that people who don't understand internet get it. Okay? I have an upload speed of 20 mile an hour. I need about 5 mile an hour to be able to do this show and not have any problems. The more the better, you know. But it kept dropping down to less than 1 mile an hour, which is why you saw the screen constantly disappearing. Although, after watching it back, the sound, we didn't have a sound issue. That carried on, didn't it? The sound was all right. So actually, we could have probably just carried on, with me suddenly freezing now and again. You'd still get the you'd still get the sound, wouldn't you? You'd still get the sound, but now and again I would freeze like that. You know, I'd like to see people frozen. I'm thinking of being cryogenically done when I'm dead. Then I can be brought back to life at another point in the future. I don't think I like the future. Even now, I don't like it. But the Sun and so many other websites, they said it on the news as well, major websites including Amazon, Twitter, Reddit and Spotify went down this morning in a mass internet outage. Now obviously I'm not one of those people and I'm not a website, but I am YouTube. You know, I'm on YouTube, so although it wasn't YouTube that was losing, the whole thing was just losing its upload speed, so it may well have been something to do with that. It says problems began around 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday and it said it lasted for an hour, shutting visitors out of some of the world's most popular web pages. Yeah, shut them out, dear. That my door is always closed here. I don't like people coming in. I don't like people coming in my house. I mean, Mark Bowles, of course, would be... let's just have a little ogle at his picture. Hello, Mark, if you're there. Thanks for your messages already coming in this evening. I shall come to those in a moment, gang. Okay, there he is. There he is. I mean, Mark Bowles would be welcome in my back doors whenever he wanted to go inside. Any time, night or day, send us a message. Tell me you're coming. That's it. And you will. Yes, some of the biggest websites went off air. The New York Times, Guardian, Bloomberg, and even Her Majesty's HMRC. Her Majesty's Removal of Cash. What's the MC stand for? The Tax Office. What's the MC stand for? Her Majesty's MC. Her Majesty's Master of Cash. I don't know what that stands for, actually. Her Majesty's removal of Chris. HMRC, Her Majesty's removal of Chris. She may come round at any moment now and remove me from here. Or, even better, want to come in to have a little chat about things. That would be quite nice. I wouldn't chat to her about the nasty things going on. No names mentioned. Look at her, Harry. Or old Edward. Is it Edward? Who's the dodgy one? Which one's the pedo? Which one is that? I wouldn't want to go on and about anything like that or whatever. Just nice things that, you know, what sort of highlights she's had in her life and that sort of thing. The Queen will always be welcome here at the United Kingdom Talk television studios, and there will be, there is a flag in here actually. Look, there is a picture of her in here. Now, which button is that? Here, try that one. There is. She's right over there. Can you see? There she is. She's out of view over there, but, you know, she is here. Worry not. There won't be any students coming round here taking my picture of my Queen off the wall, dear. I'm telling you that now. Gary the cat would be set upon them. You know, I know how to deal with these students who won't behave themselves. Take away their McDonald's privilege. No more McDonald's. They go into meltdown. Oh, it's affecting my anxiety. Oh, I can't go to McDonald's. Oh, I can't go. You can just imagine it, can't you now? If they weren't allowed to go to McDonald's anymore. Back to this story here. Visitors to affected sites were met with a 503 error message. So, I mean, that's obviously not what we were getting, but I reckon the whole thing was entwined with each other. You know, it's a bit like a pack of cards. If one bit goes down, the whole lot of them start failing, don't they? So I reckon that was probably it, you know. But here we are, working all well as usual. If you're new to the show, a very warm welcome along to you. We just have a little bit of a laugh on here. Okay, if you're going to take it too seriously, then you're probably better off somewhere else, my darlings. It's all a little bit tongue-in-cheek on this programme. And if you don't get humour or comedy, again, you're in the wrong place, I'm afraid, my darlings. All right, however, if you are enjoying it and you want to join in, welcome. If you're in a chat box, you may well be talking to many other people in that chat box, but I'm not in that. To get a message to me, either please send an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, that will get to me, or you can send a text message, 07451 287 337. 07451 287 337 is my text number. If you're in the States, in America at all, and you try and send a text, for some reason they don't get through to me. I don't know why that is, okay? So you would need to send an email, please, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and we'll have a phone line as well, open a little bit later on if you want to call in. All right, so that all works very well. Right, let's say hello to some of you sending in messages already on the show tonight. Where are we now? Good evening to... There he is, Mark Bowles is here. Evening, Mark. I knew he was there. How are you, Mark? And the grey track... Have you got the grey tracksuit on today? I mentioned on the show... I was asking the show on the show... People were very shy on the show this morning. They weren't giving their secrets away. I'm telling you that now. I happened to mention, you know, what is your thing? Do you know what I mean? What is your thing? And mine is sort of mid-30s something boys in grey tracksuits. That's mine. What's yours, Mark? Is it old puffs sitting in front of webcams talking crap? Is that your thing? Is that... And I did ask people, what is your thing? No one responded. Oh, we're very secretive there, aren't we, my darlings? Don't you worry, I'll find out. Tina has sent me a message. Tina's probably watching quietly somewhere. You know, she's constantly sending me messages. I never read them out. I'm a bit uninteresting, really. But Tina, you might want to say, what is Mark's thing? Can you send me a little private message, please, and let us know what Mark's thing is? What is your thing, boys and girls? I just told you what mine is. Mid-30s something lads in grey tracksuits. What's yours? What's yours? We already know Dan Woodhouse's thing. He's a train enthusiast. He goes around writing down the numbers of trains. He sits on the platform for hours on end with a little notebook and a pencil and a sharpener, writing down the numbers of trains as they come through. I don't know if Dan's with us yet. Dan, are you with us yet, Dan? Do you find that's like a talking point? Do people come up to you while you're sitting on a bench? No. Funny that, isn't it, really? No. What's your thing, gang? Tell me what your thing is, okay? You might not want me to read it and say, don't read this out, but I'm dying to know. Dying to know. Thank you, Mark. Mark says, hello, secret lover. Secret lovers. That's what we are. We shouldn't be together. Oh, I love that song. Please, you don't listen to the radio show in the morning, do you? Otherwise, I would have played that for you tomorrow and closed my eyes and imagined us dancing perhaps on a Princess Cruises liner with the moon going across the sea and the boat gently bobbing up and down. I say boat, cruise ship, gently bobbing up and down like that. Oh, how lovely. Little dolphins playing around us and me and you in each other's arms dancing on the deck of the Princess of the QE2. Is that still around? The QE2. Is it a second? Is it the QE2 too? If you see what I mean. Or the Queen Victoria, one of those cruise ships. All you can eat and drink, isn't it? For one price. Absolute bargain, dear. Bargain. Thank you, Mark. He says, hello, secret lovers. Secret lovers, that's what we are. That's what I was singing. We shouldn't be together, but we can't let it go. Oh, no, because we love each other. Because we love each other so. Secret lovers. Do you like that song? Shania's here. Morning, good evening, Shania. Do you play that song on your worldwide famous radio programme on Vectis Radio 103.8, covering bits of the Isle of Wight, Sundays 1 till 4 p.m. Have you listened to Shania and Vectis yet? You'll like it. You'll like it. Friendly, that's what we want. You know. Don't want someone screaming down a microphone at you. Yeah, hello everyone. With the fake smile. You know, who smiles all the time? Not me. Huh? Thank you, Shania. I hope you're well, Shania. Good evening to John Parrish, who is now on his new laptop. Well done, John. That's it. Well done. Well done. John has spent some money. Jesus Christ. Well done. Oh, sorry, Shania. I just took the Lord's name in vain. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 45 years since my last confession. Well done, John has spent some money. My God. Wonders will never cease. I can't believe it. Because he's a bit tight, John. He's tight isn't the word, dear. He does not like to see the account drop down at all, ever. He's spent some money. Oh, it must have been a freebie. I can't believe you spent money. You know, that sherry needs to knock you into shape a little bit, I think, really. A few slaps now and again. That's what you need. He says, evening, Chris. On my new laptop, lots of Flexi 3. What is that, Flexi 3? I don't know what that is. Now my car battery's gone flat. Got to buy a power pack now. Lucky Sherry's working. What, one of those chargers? How has your car battery gone flat? Are you not using your car at all? You see, there you go. He won't even buy petrol. He's got a car and won't buy the petrol for the car. That's an unbelievable amount of tightness I've ever seen in my entire life, dear. Shocking state of affairs. Good evening to the lovely Gary Ross in Northern Ireland. Good evening, Gary, to you. Hello to Adrian Richardson. Good evening, Adrian Richardson. Good evening, Chris. Why don't you show a picture of me? Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? We're trying to attract viewers to this show, Adrian. We're trying to attract them, dear. God knows it's hard enough. This is the only channel on YouTube with more uploaded videos than subscribers. That is a fact. As my nephew keeps telling me. Hello, Gary. How are you? How's your subscribers? I've got another 20 today. Got another 20 today. He goes like that. He goes, my nephew. We have more videos uploaded than subscribers. I think I should set a target, I think. I want, by this time next year, twice the amount of videos as there are subscribers uploaded to my YouTube. There's hours of me. I mean, what more could you want? You just think about it. You could start my YouTube videos on some sort of playlist, couldn't you? and just keep them running. I wonder how long that would go on for. How many months could you just have me permanently playing in your house? Huh? I mean, if you're going to hospital for something out, hospital, you don't want to be paying 50 quid a bleeding week to hire a television or something like that. No. This is all free. It's all free. Not costing you a penny. Hours of fun as you're laying there in hospital having some sort of treatment or other. Huh? Perhaps having a leg removed due to gangrene, something like that, eh? Got a little bit of a cough. I think that's an excellent idea. Don't be paying out for one of those tellies. Just take your little phone in or your little tablet, or if you're rich, your mini iPad. I've got one of those. Oh, it's 4 years old, but it still works perfectly all right. Thank you very much. We don't need to upgrade every bleeding year. Oh, let's upgrade this. Oh, that one goes 3 miles an hour faster than the other one. The colours are so wonderful on the screen, aren't they? And you look at the screen, looks exactly the same as the last one. Mugs. Absolute mug. Queuing outside Apple, aren't they, when the new phone comes out? Or a new thing. Queuing outside there. Mugs. What about like old John Parrish there? Eh? He says he's got a new laptop. That won't be new. It'd be second hand. Or third or fourth, probably. He probably found it in a Paladin outside a block of flats and fixed it all up himself. Very clever. He's not stupid, John Parrish. Very clever man. Soldering iron and all these other little bits and pieces coming out there, dear. Is that right, John? Lovely. So there you go, Adrian. That's why we don't show a picture of you. We are trying to attract more viewers to this show. And God knows it's hard work. God knows it's hard work. Once again, if you're in the chat box, I'm not in the chat box. To get a message to me, please use the email address on the screen just below my chin, my large nose. Okay, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or you can send a text. 07451 287 337 is my texting number. A very good evening to Dan. Good evening, Dan, who says, whatever you said, the answer's no. You're not even listening. You amaze me. You're not even listening. I bet you're sitting there with a phone in front of you, aren't you, Dan, watching my show, and then people are watching you watch my show. That's like that crap program Gogglebox. Whoever thought of that? The program is watching people watch something on the telly. That's it. That's this is what we're on now, you see. Television in this world. Thank you, Adrian. Good evening to George Bond this evening. Good evening, George. Good evening to Jason Hughes. Good evening to lovely Maureen. Evening, Maureen. And Maureen writes, good evening, Chris. I've just finished watching The Pact. I told you to watch this, gang. Maureen's watched it. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Chris, for recommending that. Excellent. It's really good. It's about, I think it's 6 programs long. It's about all these ladies that work in a factory, and the boss gives the factory to his son, who isn't very nice. That's all I'm telling you about it. Do watch it. Within 10 minutes, you will be hooked. It was my sister that told me about it. Love it. And another one to watch at the moment is the prison one on BBC One. Time. Time. That's really good. I finished watching that yesterday. That's only 3 episodes long, but it's about this bloke who goes to prison, and it's his first time in prison and how he copes with it. Very, very good. Try that one, Maureen. That's Time on the BBC iPlayer. Okay, thank you. Fran says, my thing. Good evening, Chris. Was it Prince Andrew? I can never remember what their names are, dear. They all look the same to me, except the beautiful Queen. Except the beautiful Queen. I quite like Princess Anne as well. I like her bad mouth. I think she's a hoot, Princess Anne. Some of these people, they do so much and you never hear about it. I know Princess Anne does an awful lot for charity and that sort of thing. Never gets mentioned, does it? Fran says, my thing is cake decorating. So he did like that. Cake decorating. Very nice. Mark says you didn't show my picture. I certainly did. Have you gone blind, dear? Or did you join us at a point where I'd already showed your picture, Mark? I don't like to expose it too much, my darling. I showed your picture when I mentioned you a little while ago. I'll have you know. Excuse me? Excuse me? I don't like to expose you too much. Otherwise, they'll all be down there, my love. Terrible. Evening, Mark. Sherry Parish. Good evening, Chris and your viewers. Lovely to see you again. Lovely to see you as well, my love. All right, Sherry. Remember, take that phone off John Parish at 8:30. Let him have another 10 minutes. You know, he gets up to all sorts of mischief the other way. John says it's a new laptop, top of the range iPad with flexi screen, 11.5 inches. An iPad with flexi screen. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. So is it not? Has it not got a lid? Is it like a tablet? You know, like a thing that you hold like that, or has it got a little lid on it? I don't know what that is, darling. Thank you very much, John. Nice to see you on this Thursday evening. Alrighty. First of all today, who wants a pair of these? Oh yeah. Have you seen them all with their Crocs on? Now they sell these Crocs without the stiletto bit at the back in Audi. No self-respecting drag queen would be seen dead wearing a pair of these. Really. These are called the Balenciaga Crocs. Balenciaga. Has Tina got a pair of those, Mark? I bet she has. What, has she got pink ones of those? Has she? Aren't they all? Aren't they awful? Thank you, Mark. I don't think you can get over the handlebars, but the Balenciaga stiletto Crocs now exist, it says in the Daily Mirror, and shoppers can't tell if it's a joke. This is true. And you do see these people walking around in Crocs. I don't know how comfortable they are. I mean, I've got these Adidas sandals, not flip-flops. I can't do flip-flops. That thing between your big toe and your next toe down. Oh, that does my head in, that does. Does my head in. I've got, like, Adidas, I think they're Adidas sandals, and they've got, like, one strap over there. And I kind of wear them when I'm going out in the garden, all weathers and that sort of thing. And they're fine. They're fine. You know, anything like that's all right with me. I years ago, when I was a youngster, I had Jesus boots. Who's got Jesus? I bet John Parrish has got Jesus boots. Have you got Jesus boots, John? Have you got Jesus boots? I mean, I'd love to see you nailed up on a cross, to be honest. Who's got Jesus boots? Well, I've just got the sandals. It says the Balenciaga Crocs collaboration, aptly dubbed Balenciaga Crocs 2.0, will be released next year, but they were met with mixed reactions online, as some said this is painful. Though they have coloured ones as well. Oh, where's my phone? Oh no, don't say you've left your phone downstairs, Chris. Hello? Telling phone. Where's that gone? That means I can't take pictures of stuff and show you tonight if I have. I haven't got it here. I'm sure I had that here. Let me just see if it's in the bedroom. One moment, please. We will try and connect you very shortly, thank you. Da, 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 da. Oh, not you either. I can't find it. Where's my phone? Now, I swear blind I had that in here. I swear blind I had that in here because I turned the ringer off before I started the show. Oh, I don't know where that's gone there. Oh, how annoying. Anyway, Balenciaga has teamed up with Crocs to create stiletto Crocs, and the strange fashion creation has left Social media users horrified. And they have a bright green one here. I wish I could show it to you. I wish I could show you this. Well, it's got to be here somewhere. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Alexa, call Chris Reardon's iPhone. No, I can't hear it anywhere, can you? Oh, it must be downstairs then, I suppose. Oh, sorry about that. That's disappointing. Anyway, back to the Crocs. The new design has combined a classic Crocs clog with an elevated heel and comes in a variety of colours. Do you want a pair of these? Is Vera with us? Do you want a pair of them, Vera? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one there. Oh, I've just shown you one of the other stories. Do you want a pair of these? They were announced on June the 6th and were met with mixed reactions. Many people online baffled by the unusual look. And the pair I've got in front of me here on the other computer screen is bright green. Bright green. I mean, you've got to have them in bright colours, haven't you? I like bright colours. I like beautiful bright colours, especially grey tracksuits as worn by Mark Bowles. I better show you his picture again because he missed it the first time. He likes to see his own picture on the telly, don't you, darling? There you are, my love. Look at that little face. Look at that little cute face. Butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. Huh? One person says, what are they thinking doing this? I love Crocs, but a Balenciaga X Crocs collab is what we don't need, adding someone else. A third commented, what the hell is wrong with the people at Balenciago with the Ga? Can't decide whether it's a joke or just making fun of people who buy these. We shouldn't make fun of people who buy them, darling. Very nice. A lot of the ladies wear these in town when they're pushing those buggies around. I've got a buggy. Move out the way. Buggy coming through. Can you get steel toe-capped ones of these so you can kick people's heads in? Huh? Several others tweeted load, but people really don't like those. So, I mean, is that one person said, I need those Croc heels as soon as possible. Now, boys and girls, is that something that you would want? A nice Croc with a stiletto at the back there. Is it something that perhaps, if we ever do another game show or a quiz night, I could get a pair of those, perhaps as a prize? I think that'd be excellent. George, you'd like to wear a pair of those, wouldn't you, my darling? Would you like a pair of those? I reckon that's the sort of thing Vectis would wear on the Isle of Wight while he's walking around doing his bin collections. Is that your sort of thing, Vectis? Eh? Crocs? Come on. Who wears Crocs? I want to know who wears Crocs. Someone here must wear those Crocs, I'm telling you now. Good evening to Rachel Wheatland. Thanks for texting in, Rachel. Hello, darling. Evening, Rachel Wheatland. George Bond says, my thing is fishing and archery. You do worry me with that bow and arrow. Oh, I have to say, you're very professional with that bow and arrow. Very good. Oh, by the way, look what I bought in. Now, we were talking about these on this morning's show. Orange digestive, £1 from the pound shop. There you go. That's what they look like. I just wanted to show you these, all right? These are absolutely delicious. Orange. Look how big they are now. I'm not being funny. They're the size of a normal biscuit now. Look. I'll put it to my face so you can get more idea of it. Right? Look. In fact, here is a Starbucks cup. Look. It's just a little bit bigger than that. They are so small now. Digestive biscuits were always large, weren't they? Ow, that's what the customer wants. No, they don't, you tight-fisted bastards. We want great big biscuits with enormous amounts of chocolate on it. People often, they don't eat these. Oh, the chocolate will make me fat. No, it's not the chocolate, mate. What, that tiny, thin layer of chocolate? It's the biscuit that's doing the damage. Has it got those hydrogenated vegetable fats in it? Very bad. Heart attack in a biscuit. Let me have a look. One moment, please. Let me refer to my things. They probably changed the name, didn't they? I don't know what it is. Wholemeal, maltic acid, orange flavouring. I don't know. It says wholemeal wheat there. Wholemeal wheat. That's good, isn't it? Emulsifiers. Vegetable fats. Shea and palm. Oh, Christ. Oh, no. Don't start Adrian Richardson off. It's got palm oil in it. Don't start him off on that bloody palm oil. He's obsessed with palm oil and how bad it is for the environment. You know. Certain people's faces are bad for the environment, I have to say. Gemma Collins comes to mind, I must say. Adrian, Chris Dragon's Den is on the television. You should record it. It's talking about breastfeeding bras. You might find it interesting. Why would I... What are you saying, darling? I mean, I hope that's all right for you, Mark, because I'm a bit big up here now. Maybe you like that sort of thing. I've seen the pictures of Tina. You know, I mean, can you see? Look. I was out with my... we went down the shops earlier, which I'll tell you about in a moment, and we went over these sleeping policemen. Honestly, as it went over, I felt my entire body wobble. Isn't that awful? My entire body wobbled, and it was painful. That's dreadful. Dreadful. Isn't it? Shania, thanks for setting off my... Alexa, what's the weather today? Yeah. Just giving you your local weather forecast. See, I never thought of that. I can actually give you your own local weather forecast by doing that for you. And it will be your weather forecast, not the one here, wherever you are. If dear lady Alexa picks up my voice and then starts wittering away. Have you ever told her you love her? Eh? Go on, tell her. Mark is sat here sucking on a feast. Oh, I know that. Is that the thing with all the little sparkler, the hundreds and thousands on it? Who would win an arm wrestle? Daniel Woodhouse or George? That's a good question. Who do you think would win that? Who would win an arm wrestle? George or Daniel Woodhouse? Or probably George's nan. I wouldn't mess with her. Bless her heart, darling. John, I bet you left your phone at Mark's. I should be so lucky to be invited round there. Waiting for the girlfriend to go on holiday, then I'll be straight round there, my dear. John says I can picture you in Jesus boots with little white ankle socks. Oh yeah, I wear socks when I've got my sandals on. And? What's your problem? Good evening to Andy. Evening, Andy. Do you remember... evening, Chris. Still getting used to the new show times. I almost forgot. Have you got your little notifications thing in? Ding! It goes whenever I'm doing a show. Remember wagon wheels, Chris? They used to be massive. Now one bite, they're gone. That's true as well. You only ever needed one wagon wheel. Didn't need any other sweets after that. Now they're half the size they were. But that's actually... I didn't realise, because I'm not a great eater of digestive biscuits. But the size of those has shocked me a little bit, really. Adrian, you might need double F bra size, 42 to 58. What, are you going to lend me one of yours then, Adrian? He says, too late, palm oil is bad. It kills orangutans. Well, maybe they should stop drinking the stuff then. You know? Thank you, Adrian. If you're sending in a text, if you're in a chat box, I'm not in the chat box, I don't see the messages. Please send a text, 07451 287 337, or send an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks to Leslie Ross. Thank you, Leslie. Sadly, I can't find my phone, right? And therefore, I can't take a picture of a picture and show it to people at the moment. Shall I go downstairs and see if I can find it? I'm feeling a little bit... I've got phone anxiety now. Do you ever get that? Phone anxiety. Okay, let's have a little piece of music while I go downstairs. George, would you like the music? Would you like the usual music while I just pop downstairs? Would you like that, lovey? Would you? Here we go, stand by. Now, what shall we have? Shall we have the opening one? The Bracknell opening? Or the close? Or what about the Christmas one? Shall we have the Christmas one? Do you remember we had a nice bit of booze at Christmas? Let me just play this while I try and seek out, because I've got phone anxiety now. I think someone's walked in here and stolen it from me. I'm very concerned. Mark, I hope Tina doesn't go through your phone pictures like the ones I've sent you privately. Have a look, put those in the hidden folders. Hidden files, they're called, and you have to password them, dear. Right, back in a minute. I'm going to have a look for my phone. Don't look at my bum when I'm going out. Found it. Shut up. Found it. Okay, let's show you a picture of our lovely Leslie. Who said, oh, she's very pretty, Leslie. 1 minute. There she is. She looks quite mean here. You're looking mean. Oh, who's that? Oh, mean. There you go. Mean. Mean and lean and very beautiful. Thank you, Leslie. That's Gary's wife. Isn't she pretty? You're lucky to have her, Gary. I mean, I've seen a picture of you. God knows how you pulled someone like that. To be honest, Gary. You know. Huh? Now, was there something else I was going to show you? Oh, that green croc. Let me show you that green croc. Green croc. Where is it now? There it is. The green croc. This is... I showed you the grey one. Okay. Shania, I can see you in something like this, darling. Here we are, my love. There you are. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty, isn't it? Come on, be honest. You like that, don't you, Shania? You can wear that underneath your cassock. Yeah. Do you have black cassocks or red cassocks where you are? We had red cassocks at St. Joseph's. Red. You need a pair of those, Shania, to wear underneath your cassock, my darling. Huh? Adrian says, give us your number, Chris, and we all call your mobile for you. No, thank you. You're the last person I'd ever want calling me. I could just imagine you be going on and on about orangutans drinking the palm oil. Don't they have water where they come from? Why have they got to drink palm oil? No water. Good evening to Mark Jones. Evening, Mark, who's in the office watching this amazing worldwide broadcast. And it is amazing, isn't it, eh? It is, go on. I sit there and I watch myself for hours and I'm amazed at how amazing it is, to be honest. Eh? Right. Shania, on the subject of the green Crocs, she says not a chance. Black shoes only for serving. Oh, okay. White alb with red kinture and a silver medal. Oh, she's got the silver medal. Oh. Shania, I don't know if I've ever shown you this. Thank you very much, Shania. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shania. Yes, it's still here. The little loop at the top broke off. I didn't progress to a metal one, unfortunately. Thank you, Shania. Thank you very much. You're impressed with that, aren't you, my love? Ah! Yes. The Guild of St. Stephen's. Yes. Adrian says, I don't drink palm oil with the orangutans. The trees and forests get cut down where they live and they get slaughtered by the tree people who were cutting the trees down. What, because they were drinking all the palm oil? Don't they like them drinking the palm oil? What's all that about, Adrian? Oh, strange. Mark! George, is your nan a bit like Deborah Meaden on Dragon's Den? We want to know. Or does she look much older than that? I don't know which. Let us know, please, George. Let us know, darling. All right. And Shania, I still have my bronze, but I don't use it anymore. Yeah, this is plastic, actually, Shania. This is the plastic one. This is so old. 40. That's going to be 44 years old, that. Huh? Let's put that near the picture of my mum, I think. Is George's nan okay? Well, I assume so. We don't get much news about George's nan anymore. We used to get a piece of news every week about George's nan. He hardly mentions her now anymore. I have to, like, suck it out of him. Oh, well, that's probably the wrong expression to use with George. I have to draw it out of him, the information. I have to draw it out. Never mentions his nan. I have to say, how is your nan? And he goes all a bit shy and he doesn't like to tell me. I don't know why that is. It's very strange and mysterious. Good evening to the lovely Paul in Cornwall. Evening, Paul. He's got a splitting headache and the G7 thing is taking the mick in Cornwall. Or is that near you, is it? The old G7. So, say hello to President Biden, won't you? He's a bit odd. I'm sorry. I was watching him earlier. He doesn't look like a real person. It's like a mannequin, isn't it? He doesn't really look... Trump, for all his... Whether or not you liked him or not, some people liked him, some people didn't like him. Whether or not you liked him, he did come across as an actual person. And Mr. Biden doesn't. He's got this aura of being a mannequin. I think he's being controlled by remote control somewhere. Huh? Who was the lady who tried to become president last year? The wife of the bloke who got the stain down his suit. Do you remember? Mrs. Clinton. Mrs. Clinton. I reckon she's controlling Joe Biden by remote control somewhere. He doesn't look like a real person. Honestly, he doesn't. The suit is a bit too perfect. I mean, Boris is clearly a normal person. No one in their right mind would let a robot go out with hair like that, would they? Come on, be honest. They wouldn't. He's clearly a real person. Too many guffs for him to be a robot. But Joe Biden, it just comes across... I'm sure he's a very nice person. I take him or leave him, really. But it doesn't look real. Very bland. Very bland. Mark Jones, please don't say things like that again, dear. I don't want image of you doing... Thank you very much for that. Adrian, what time is your show going on to tonight? I've got to go back to Mum's house to look after her from her operation. Does she have an operation, your mum? Oh, well, good luck to her. Oh, well, I don't know. I never know what time the show will finish. It might finish in the next 30 seconds, or we might go on till midnight. I never know. It just depends. It just depends how interested people are continuing to be in my worldwide famous broadcasts all over the world. The only show with more subscribers, with more videos than subscribers. That's us. Oh, look who it is. It's Vectis Humphrey. Good evening, Vectis. Hi, Chris. I have a pair of pink stiletto Crocs with a steel toe cap that I wear to work. I knew it. I knew you'd have something like that. And there's nothing wrong with Crocs, Vectis. Don't let other people tell you they're for horrible people. Don't let them tell you that, darling. Huh? I mean, I could have a... Mark Bowles, maybe he'd like me in a pair... Actually, Mark, how would you like me dressed when I meet you? What sort of little outfit would you like me to wear? Anything at all. I will spend money on my little outfit before we meet. I mean, maybe you'd like me to turn up like this? Eh? Or I could get myself a grey tracksuit. I mean, I won't look as good as you, but no one does, do they? It's just how it is. Huh? Yes, I can see you in your pink Crocs there. George says his nan's fine. Oh, do send her my best regards, darling. Do send your nan my best regards, all right? What's this? Oh, that's for the funeral chat later. Adrian, I was asking so I know I could fall asleep quicker if you're on than get to my mum's. How rude. Rude. Very rude. Anyway, we move on, boys and girls. On to a little subject that is quite a little bit down on what we were doing there. But I went to a funeral yesterday. My mate says I say funeral wrong. I don't know why he says that. He said funeral, but that's how I say it. I went to a funeral yesterday. One of my friend's mothers. My friend is Andrew. Funnily enough, he serves on the altar as well, Shania. And he too, like you, has a silver St. Stephen's medal. Metal, dear, metal. And it's very beautiful. He's a lovely chap. His name's Andrew, and he is the country's longest surviving heart and lung transplant person. He had an issue with his lungs. I can't think of what it is called now. Possibly cystic fibrosis. Is that a lung thing? I think it might have been that. Over the years, sadly, he's lost 2 of his brothers to this, but he has 2 sisters as well who are still with us. And it was his mum's funeral yesterday. And funerals are funny old things, really. This was a proper Catholic one. Okay, an hour and a half. And I've got to say, I loved every minute of it. I know that sounds strange when it's a funeral, but honestly, I mean, I intended to go down to support Andrew. Plus, I've known his mother since I was 10 years old. And she was very chatty to me always. In my very early 20s, I used to play in fact, when I was, I think, 17 or 18, I used to play the organ at the church. And I was a bit teenage rebel, even in the church. And I would often play, and I still do, too loud and too fast. You know, the older members of the congregation could never keep up. I don't know why. I was able to sing along with it. But that's just how I did it, right? Okay, and it worked. But I would finish a mass, not with some sort of trumpet voluntary, but usually with a TV theme or a pop song, one of which was EastEnders. So the priest would go out. This is how I always used to finish a mass, not so much now. And then I would play like just the chorus of "Thank you for giving me the morning, da 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 da." I just did that as the priest was coming off, and then I'd break out into some sort of pop song or TV theme. And my 2 favourites, I think, were probably EastEnders and Neighbours. Right. Anyway, over the years, as I went back and stopped going and went back, whenever I went back again, Peggy went, "Oh, hello, Chris again. Are you here to play the organ today?" Yes, yes. And if there was someone sitting next to her, "This is Chris. He's been playing the organ for years." She said, "And he'll always finish with a pop song. He used to finish with EastEnders years ago." Now, Peggy was absolute staunch Catholic. She really believed in the book and everything else in there. And the thing is with the Catholic Mass, it's an hour and a half long and it's not rushed. Okay, the funeral was at 10:30 in the morning. I left here. It's about an hour's journey from here. I give it 2 hours. You know what I'm like on time. I have to be on time in places, otherwise I get in pieces. I really break into a sweat if I'm stuck in traffic. Anyway, I did get stuck in a bit of traffic. I don't know where all this traffic is coming from. Anyway, we'll come on to that in a little bit. And I left my house at around about 20 to 9, and I got there, I think, at about 10 to 10. So plenty of time. Parked the car. And again, I got quite a lot of traffic on the way in. I don't know where they're all going. We're not on peak at the moment. That's not peak time, but nevertheless. Pulled into the car park. I was one of the first people there, funnily enough, but very quickly other people came in. Andrew, her son, was there. So I said hello to him. And eventually Peggy's funeral, her coffin came in. And I think that struck me about the coffin. And I thought about taking photographs. If it was a member of my family, like mum or dad, I probably would have taken some pictures of the coffin, but it wasn't. It was someone else, and I thought, no, they might class that as a bit disrespectful, and I always try and respect other people's wishes, whatever they are, you know. So I didn't. But this coffin actually had carvings. You know the Last Supper table, Shania? It was something like, it may have been that, I can't remember exactly now, but that was actually carved into the side of the coffin. It was beautiful. I know some people would say, oh, it's just a box, it doesn't matter what you spend on it. Well, I think it does. I think it does matter what it looks like. So this box was beautiful. And then various members of our family, they stand. You've been to a funeral, I'm sure. They stand at the back of the coffin car. Is there a word for that? I don't know. The coffin car. They push it out, and these 6, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's one at the back as well. So 7 people, and they pick up the coffin and put it. As it was going in, I suddenly realised they hadn't quite matched up the tall people, and it would seem to be all the tall people one side, and all the short people were the other side. It was a bit like that, and I thought, oh God, I hope that don't slip off in a minute. So the shorter people were taking all the way. But anyway. And that comes into the church. Of course, the church is set out at the moment where many of the seats are roped off. So you can have, I think, 2 people on the seat, 1 at each end, unless you are a family and all together, in which case they're all there. We've all got the masks on. You have to do your hands as you go in. It's all very, very safe, I must say. And the coffin, I think we followed the coffin in, actually, and there was an organist there, which was lovely, and a singer right at the front in the side. And they were singing, I can't remember, well, I'll have a look in a minute. I'll tell you what it was in here. And off it went, and we had the religious part of it, of course. Andrew told us all about his mum and when she was born and brought up and all that. It was wonderful. And as I say, it wasn't rushed. There's one thing I really hate, crematoriums. Oh my God, they are just so totally and utterly soulless. They're queuing up to get in there. I've been to several of those crematoriums, and it's a quick service, 10 to 15 minutes. You're standing outside there. There's already one in there. They come out. You're in. Next. It's awful. Quite frankly, I don't know why they even bother. They might as well just come out of the blooming fridge at the morgue and go straight to the hole in the ground, if you're going to do that. It's a complete and utter waste of time. Awful. Crematorium services, 10 minutes long. Blooming awful. I've been to several of them in North London, various people I've known over the years. And I do not like them at all. Catholic funeral, hour and a half we were in that church. Wonderful. Wonderful when Andrew stood up there and he did this story about his mum and his brothers and sisters and what had gone on over the years and what have you, and it was wonderful just sitting there, and he managed to do it without falling to pieces, which I would expect that of Andrew. I think he did fantastically. Yeah, I went to primary school with him, you see. And over the years, we contacted and lost contact, contacted, all to do with the church. He's been serving on that altar, as I say, for over 50 years now. Over 50 years. Well, I think it's over. I think it was about 10. You start serving on the altar when you're about 10 years old, right? So we had hymns. And the wonderful thing about having Catholic funerals as well is that you get a free gift in the form of this book here. And it's lovely. That's a picture of Peggy on the front there. Okay. She was a lovely lady. That's the oldest picture of her there. Okay. And her actual name was Margaret. And I never knew that. I never knew her name was Margaret. Margaret Healy. Lovely lady. But we all know her as Peggy. Born 10th of February 1942. So her what do you call it? Her birthday is 5 days after mine, until 11th of May this year, so that's 2021. And in there you've got various photos of her, one as a little girl. They had the Requiem Aeternam, placing of the Bible, the crucifix and a photograph of Peggy, words of remembrance, that was the bit from Andrew Healy. And we had some hymns as well. I, the Lord of Sea and Sky, you know that one, Shania. I, the Lord of Sea and Sky. Some readings in there. Where the Lord's my shepherd. I think you find those at most funerals, actually. We had Christ be beside me, Christ be before me, and make me a channel of your peace, which I remember being sung at my father's funeral in one. And there were 2 hymns that I didn't know, actually. Here is love vast as the ocean. Didn't know that one. And may the choirs of angels come to greet you. And then the last hymn was Amazing Grace, again, which I think was sung at my father's funeral. So you get a little booklet, and I've got a few of these now, of course, over the years. But it was lovely. And it's It's a strange thing now going to that church. The moment you walk in there, you feel completely, utterly at home, because that was the church I always went to, you know. And hopefully at some point when things open again, and you can see it's coming along now, isn't it? Things are starting to look good at last after all this time. And I hope at one point I'll be back there playing the organ, and Andrew will be on the altar, but his mother won't be there anymore. You know, she used to sit there. And while I was sitting there, I sat quite far back, obviously because it's someone else's funeral. Usually in a church, I'll go right to the front, but you can't do that if it's someone's funeral. You have to sit where you're told to sit, and that's it. So I was quite far back. But I was standing there and just looking around this church, and it's just full of ghosts. Full of ghosts. Father Symes used to be on the altar. Father Gallagher was on the altar. Mary would be playing the organ. Nellie would be singing over there. Mrs. Boyle would sit there. My mother would sit there. Margaret Seath would sit there. Nanny Ryan would sit over there. There'd be an old man who used to come in the church, and he would say prayers. You know, when we're doing like all speaking at the same time, prayers. But he would always be slightly behind everyone else. He's not in there now. And all these people have gone. All of them. And in actual fact, I think Peggy was probably the last one of that era. I'm trying to think. There was another lady as well, and I haven't seen her for some time. I think she was probably the last one out of all those people that used to be in this church. And I can see where they used to sit. It's surreal sitting there. Not horrible, just really quite sad, really. Missing all those people I just told you, all gone, all of them. And they all had their own little jobs. People used to do jobs, and it's just Margaret Seath, she used to go in there cleaning. The church would never have to pay for people to do things. You know, there would be a group of ladies usually who would go in and clean, and someone, you know, need a bit of painting done, something was done. Oh, that's one thing, the church has been painted since last time, because that had fallen into a terrible state of disrepair. Do you remember I told you a couple of years ago? I was there was paint coming off the walls and everything. Well, they obviously managed to club, because they haven't got much money. It's a poor parish. It's a poor parish. They don't have much money at all. And but it's all been painted, so that was really looking lovely and nice and fresh. Anyway, after the funeral, we left the church round about, so mass started at 10:30. It was about 12 o'clock when we left, and of course the coffin comes out first. And went into the car park. And then we left the car park. Now the car park, to go from the car park to the cemetery, we have to cross a busy road, Roehampton Lane. This is difficult. Not with a funeral concierge, because the two, I have to say, very good funeral people. Well, I've never come across bad funeral people. They all come in, they're all dressed impeccably, they're all quite solemn, they look down, they only appear when they're required to appear. These funeral people, yes, they make a lot of money, but they do it properly. It was Something Brothers, I can't remember who it was, Something Brothers, and I think there were 6 of them altogether. And they were so well dressed, and it was all done faultless, absolutely faultless, right? So the funeral car's coming out. The two men waited for a gap in the traffic, and one went one side. It's a busy road, fast, busy road. One went it's not fast. It's 30-mile-an-hour limit on there. One went one side, one went the other side, and out came the cars. I think possibly it was supposed to be just the coffin car that was supposed to come out, but then we all followed really closely, so we all managed to get straight out of the car park, and we turned right along Roehampton Lane. You got top of Roehampton Lane, turn right again, you go down Kingston, I think it's Putney Vale. Go there, then you turn left just after Asda's, and the cemetery is behind Asda. And I did know that all the cars would stop at the office, so you go into Putney Vale Cemetery, past some burial places on the left-hand side, and then there's an office. Now, I do know that they always stop at the office first. Must be some paperwork. I don't know, can't remember what happens in there anyway. But that's done, and at that point, I took the opportunity to go around the other cars and then stop at my mother and father's grave to give that a good watering. You may remember, actually, I took a photo. You may remember I'd done the plants up there a couple of weeks ago. And they're looking really good, actually. I took a photo. There we go. They've come up quite well there. What I need to do is get some stone cleaner now, though, because it's looking... I mean, it's not been cleaned for 21 years, you know, so that's looking a bit dirty there, yeah. But all those plants I put in, and they're coming up nicely, they are. But it was as dry as the bottom of a budgie's cage. The earth was so dry, so I put about 6 cans of water on there. And then while I'm doing it, the funeral concierge came out, and it actually went past me. I thought, oh, that can't be far. And it wasn't. My mum was a good friend of Peggy, and her burial, her place of final resting is 2 minutes walk from my mum's grave. So that's nice, isn't it? I like to think that, oh, that's quite nice. Maybe spirits or that can get up from each other and walk and have a little bit of a chat in the middle. I think that's nice. Most people, if they're, you know, husbands and wives, they want to be buried in the same hole in the ground. I get that. I get that. But I thought that was quite nice. And if I want to, you know, next time I go to my mum and dad's grave, which will probably be in August for my mum's birthday, I'll walk over to Peggy's. They don't put the stone straight on, you know. They had a lovely wooden cross made. Again, I thought about taking a photo, and I thought, no, they might not like that. So, but they'd have a wooden cross made. And what they do is put that in the burial place, because they can't they can't put the stone straight on there, because the earth has to sink a bit, you see. So that's why that is. But it was really good, and I stayed, and then after all the cars went past, I left my car at my mum and dad's grave, and then I walked over to Peggy's place of rest. And there was a small little prayer thing going. The priest was over there, the small little prayer thing going on there. And then afterwards, everyone had a red rose. I'm not quite sure where the red roses came from. So they chucked the red rose into the grave where the coffin had been lowered down, again by the boys from the funeral place. Very good. I've never seen a funeral done badly. Never. I've never seen it. Always, these people are very respectful. Yes, you are paying for it. Of course you are. But nevertheless, you know, there are ways to do things, and they had it sussed very well, I must say. And the coffin is lowered down, and then some prayers take place, and the priest blesses with holy water all over it, and then people come forward. You can go forward and put something in there, which seemed to be red roses. People were chucking in single red roses, and a piece of earth as well. So the priest stands there with a bucket of earth, and you just take a pinch, and you put it down, chuck it down onto the coffin, and that's it really. And then while that was happening, I recognised Andrew's sisters, Celia and Maria, and I haven't seen these girls for 22, 32, 42, 52. It's I would say. See, I didn't really see them in my later teenage years. I would say I probably haven't seen them since I was 14. So 14, 24, 34, 44, 54, 58. So about 44, 45 years I haven't seen these two girls. And yet, we recognised each other. And I didn't want to try and talk to them before the funeral. That's a very, very, very tough time. You know, when you're burying someone that you love. Very tough. But at the graveside, after the service had finished, I noticed they'd started talking to people. So I went over, first of all, to Maria and said, all right. She said, Chris. And it was just wonderful to see them. Don't get me wrong, we weren't close or anything like that, you know, or not like me and my mate Ronnie, you know, we knew of each other. But nevertheless, how wonderful to see people like that. And it's just a blooming shame that it has to be someone like a funeral that you meet up with these people again. And then the same with Celia. I went over and I said, "All right, Celia." She said, "Hello, Chris. I wasn't sure if it was you or not." I said, "Yeah, it's me." And we have a minor conversation. They invited me over for a cup of tea and a sandwich, which they would have had at the wake, which I think was in the church hall. I'm not sure if it was in the church hall. I'm sure it was in the church hall. But usually after a funeral, I like to go home after that. I'm not really, I know this sounds stupid, I'm not really one for mingling socially in pubs and things like that. Seriously, I'm not. Funny, isn't it? And I love the whole religious thing, you know that. I love the peacefulness of the cemetery afterwards. But after that, I tend to just disappear. Because you go to these, and they are quite busy when they have these dues, and everyone's talking. And do you know what I mean? I like to have a one-to-one conversation with one rather than a whole load of people. So it was kind of her to invite me back, but they were fine with that. And then I jumped in the car and came back again. And it was lovely. It was really, really nice day. And I got back in my car and I thought, what a lovely time that was. That I know it sounds silly, but that was probably my best morning this year. My most lovely morning this year is what we had there. So that was the funeral. And as I say, that's a picture of Peggy. That's the last. She was kind of looking like that the last time I saw her, which was at the church. About a year ago now. It's the last time I saw her. Lovely lady though. So that was my trip to the funeral. Alrighty. Okay, let's just read some of your text messages coming in there. George says, thank you, George. Adrian says, do you get traffic anxiety? Yes, if I've not left enough time. I hate traffic. I don't know anyone that likes sitting in traffic. I don't know anyone that likes sitting in traffic. I get traffic anxiety if I'm stuck in traffic and I've now gone over the time that I intended. Now, you know, Adrian, I give going to Central Station 2 hours to do a 1 hour journey, right? And all 3 of the weeks that we've been back there so far, I've got into a bit of trouble. Whereas I aim to get there at 6:30. I've literally left here at 4:30 in the afternoon. And I'm getting there at 7 o'clock. 2.5 hours. And I get really bad traffic anxiety if I've got an appointment or it's work. And suddenly I'm in this traffic and I don't see a way out. And of course there is no way out. Certainly not in London. You're sitting there for hours on end trying to get through this blooming traffic. It's a nightmare. And on that similar subject... the traffic yesterday. After both going to the church, it was pretty bad. But even going home afterwards, where on earth have all these cars come from? Not only that, it seemed pretty obvious to me they all had like somewhere to go out to. Because on the way home, it should take me A3, M25, M3. Okay? But it took me A3 and then it took me off the A3 to towards a place called Leatherhead, which is not in my general direction really. And to go to that part, we had to go through Chessington. Well, I can't tell you, out that way, it's a bit country, right? And they have these outdoor pubs, as you do all over the country. These pubs are packed. On a Wednesday, these pubs are rammed. On a Wednesday afternoon, I kid you not, it would have been about 1:30, 2 o'clock now. These pubs were absolutely rammed with people. Not only the pubs, the garden centres, full up, car parks full up as I'm going past. I think, where have all these people come from? You didn't used to see this on a Wednesday. Saturday, yeah. Maybe Sunday, but a Wednesday afternoon. And then I got to Chessington World of Adventures and I looked over there, rammed. Are the children still on holiday? These car parks are full up with people, so I don't know where they're all coming from. But I said to you a week or so ago now that the traffic now seems to be even worse than it was before the pandemic. And the Daily Mail has come out with this. It says weekday road traffic has now exceeded. This is in the Daily Mail a couple of days ago. I knew it. I told you this. Weekday road traffic has exceeded pre-COVID levels for the first time, according to new official figures, while London Underground rides are up 20%. The London Underground is still quiet at the moment, from what I gather. But the number of vehicles on Britain's roads on May the 28th was 104% of the figure before the virus started. So it is busier, according to the Department of Transport. The rise in vehicle use on that date was driven by it being the Friday before a bank holiday weekend, but traffic for the previous 4 days still averaged 96% of the pre-pandemic levels, while weekend road traffic has been at or near 100% since mid-April. So I knew it. It's worse now than it was before the damn pandemic, and it can only get worse and worse. I told you they've taken away a lane. There's only one lane of traffic now going past Euston Station and under the underpass. Ridiculous. But it will only get worse. It will only get worse and worse. And I don't have an alternative. I have to drive to work. I've got stuff in the car. No, I can't leave it at the pub. Could I get a train? Well, funnily enough, I looked at trains. And I thought maybe I can drive to Richmond. But no, I don't get a direct train to King's Cross from here. I'd have to swap lines and things like that. It's just no quicker, really. And certainly it would be slower to come home by train late at night. Although that's quite a nice thing, actually, that is. You know, when you're on the train at night time. And I've done it before quite a few times, you know, if I've gone shopping in London. Not recently, not in the last year and a half or so. But if I've gone shopping in London, done something like that, and, well, I did it not last Christmas, the Christmas before, didn't I? I went to a few times, actually, Christmas parties and things like that I went to, just a pizza and that sort of thing. But one day I went for afternoon tea, didn't I? On my own, because the other one didn't turn up, at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. I did all that by train. And then you have your afternoon tea, then you have a little wander around the shops, and you come back. I don't know. You don't really want to come back at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with all the other peasants there. But sort of 7 o'clock at night, you're on this train and it's dark and you're tired and you kind of like it's really tired. You kind of just nod off, and it's not, I like it. I nearly missed the station once. I don't know what woke me up, but all of a sudden I heard Bracknell. And the doors were open. I drifted off. I do drift off I like it on trains. I just wish they had a bit of a footstool because you can get a bit uncomfortable. But yes, going back to that traffic thing, so it is now worse than it was before the pandemic. But you just have to put up with it, and that's it. As for the traffic anxiety, yes, certainly I do get traffic anxiety, and that's why I leave an awful lot of time for an appointment. My mate's completely opposite to me. Oh, he'd be on the Waze or something like that. Understandably, checking how long the time will be. So if he's got an appointment in London at 1 o'clock and Waze says it will take an hour, he will leave at 12. And there'll be no room for error. And I cannot do that. If I've got an appointment in London and it says it's going to be an hour, I'll leave at 11, maybe even 10:30. I'd rather be sitting there for an hour ready than to be late. I can't bear it. And he used to take me to some of my appointments in London if I had them. And he would turn up and I'd start panicking big time because I could see we were now stuck in traffic, and I knew had I have left, I would have left an hour before and we'd be so much further down that line and I wouldn't be late. I can't bear it. And he like says, you know, just ring ahead, tell them you're going to be late, it'll be okay. Not in my head it won't be okay. It will not be acceptable to be late. I will be there on time, and that's it. Vectis says, I have a pair. Oh, sorry, Chris. Why can't you say the word funeral properly? That's funeral. That's it. Funeral. Nothing wrong with that word, Vectis. Thank you. Gary Ross says, That's a good thing you're doing, Chris, talking about the good stuff you've done growing up and the memories you had with your friend and his mum. Yeah, I remember going round to his house, actually. Yeah, I remember they lived in Ibsley Gardens, I think, if I remember rightly. Was it the corner house? Corner near the stairs, maybe? I had a little bit of a garden there. This is so long ago. So long ago. But you have these memories, don't you? Again, Andrew, I wasn't close to Andrew. You know, we weren't close friends like that. But we knew each other, you know, and we never had a row or anything like that. He's a nice bloke. Really nice bloke, Andrew. Thank you, Rachel. Sending some prayers there. The coffin car is called a hearse. Of course it is. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel says, my grandmother's funeral songs were Time to Say Goodbye by Sarah Brightman. The hymn was Great is Thy Faithfulness. Is it? Great is my faithfulness. Da 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 da. Is that the one? That seems to ring a bell, that one. Thank you. The closing music was The Prayer by Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion, which is one done by some people at karaoke sometimes. That's quite popular, that one. And Rachel said, glad everything went well. Your mum and dad's grave looks lovely. Yes, the flowers have got to come up a bit more. Unfortunately, if we get a dry spell, that can do them in. I did put some slug pellets down because you get loads of slugs there and things eating everything, and a bit of spray on the leaves to stop the green fly. But of course, you know, weeks pass. You know, it's not like it's just around the corner. It's a day out to go to my mum and dad's grave. I'm always quite happy to just sit there, really. John Paris, when you get to my age, you'll find all your friends are dead, says John. Yeah. John says, I know how you feel, Chris. We buried our mother-in-law last month. She wasn't dead. We just buried her. Oh, you are naughty, dear. I mean, of course, you've got the... I mean, it must be difficult for you, John, because you actually look dead. You know, you are one of the walking dead, aren't you, darling? You've looked dead for years. John says, shame, really. Both my parents and brothers were cremated. I love what you do. Thank you, John. Yes, I mean, if someone wants to be cremated, that's fine. You know, it's up to them. I'm a great believer in you should do what that person wanted you to do. And that goes the same with wills. You know, if it says in that will, I want to leave this to so-and-so, and you happen to be left out, well, hard cheese, mate. Hard cheese. You know, I can't believe people go against wills. I think that's disgusting. I really do. It says in the will, I want the money to go to Auntie Ethel. I don't want the money to go to Uncle Simon. So Uncle Simon shouldn't have anything. But often you see Uncle Simon then contests the will. And they come out with all this old crap. Oh, he wasn't in his right mind. How do you know that? How do you know that? Is there a way the solicitor, when you go into the solicitor, because I have a will, is there a way that the solicitor... does they sign? I can't remember how it works. It's like 21 years ago since I did mine. Does the solicitor sign thing to say that they're of sound mind, or I don't know how it works there. But yeah, and it goes the same with the mass or the service. You know, some people like to lay it out as they want it. They want this in, they want this reading, and you know, if it goes on for 3 hours, so be it. A member of the family has got absolutely no right whatsoever in my mind to go, oh, it looks a bit long. Let's just take that out. And no. And when they've died, then that's it. Fran blames Sadiq Khan for the traffic. Oh, it's got to be him, isn't it, eh? He keeps closing blooming roads all the time. It's all very well for him driving around in his taxpayer's car, which I suppose he's not on a bike, is he? Boris used to be on a bike. Do you remember Boris? He used to be on that bike. Evenings to Ollie K. Hello, Ollie K. Hope you're well, Ollie. Hope you're well, sir. Drinking out that water bottle. Adrian says, I'm exactly the same as you. I hate being late. It's rude. I mean, it really is very rude to be late. Anyway, we'll open a phone line now if anyone wants to call in. Phone line's now open. 020 8144 3477. Okay, 020 8144 3477. My neck's looking a bit old, isn't it? Look. Oh, God, look. I look like one of those dinosaurs. I am, of course, a dinosaur of the DJ world now. You know. Not that I do. I haven't done any DJing now for over a year now. Daniel Woodhouse. It looks like Daniel's calling in. Good evening, Daniel.
Evening, Chris.
All right, sir. What are you laughing at now?
Oh, you've been a very naughty boy.
What have I done now? What have I done?
Well, you said at the start about Daniel on platform with a notebook and a dirty yellow anorak and all that.
I know. Where did you get the dirty yellow anorak from?
Oh well, it was a bit like that.
But I never said the only yellow thing in front of me at the moment is my little level indicators, which are both perfectly in the yellow and not going into the red. No mention at all of the yellow anorak. However, we find out from what you just said now that you actually wear a yellow anorak. I've got a yellow anorak downstairs. Yeah. Well, it's not so much an anorak. I think they're called cagoles, are they, that I wear on my bicycle?
Well,
can you ride a bicycle?
I only had a bike once. It didn't last. Could have been up to about 5 months, I think.
Right.
And it was stolen from Elm Park Library, and that was it.
Was it not locked up, or was it locked up?
I never had it. No, I never had it locked for. I just It was all right. You know, you used to get used to. Oh, you can leave it there. It'll be all right. You come out, it's there.
Was it an old bike? Was it?
It was second-hand given to us by some other people.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, I must say that the bike I've got up in Lincolnshire, that's really old. You know, the whole joke of it, the bike was 30 quid. Right? That's all it cost. It's a lovely bike. My nephew sourced it for me, Gary. Very quickly, I realised I needed a new front tyre because it was bulging at the side, and that's a bit... That can go, you know, you don't want that going while you're driving along or cycling along. So I ordered a new tyre. That was £29. Okay? And the last time I was up there, I noticed the back one is now bulged. So the two tyres are worth twice the amount of the blooming bike. How mad is that?
Yes, absolutely. But on the other hand...
Just a minute now. What do you mean, yes, absolutely? That was like you didn't even listen to what I said then.
Well, no, what happened was I had my mum beckoning me in.
Oh, what's wrong with her? Tell her you're on the phone. You're on the phone, dear.
Because I've been having a walk to the bottom of the garden, you see.
Yeah,
I get down the bottom of the garden, wait till the tortoise gets there, and then turn it round the other way.
Have you got a tortoise?
No, of course not. That's a joke.
Why not? Very friendly creatures.
Well, we nearly could have had.
Are they friendly? Can you stroke them?
Well, that shell is a bit hard, isn't it? It's a bit of a tough shell, you know.
Yeah.
But getting back to what you said earlier,
right?
That did give me a bit of a thing about what my actual outlook on life is. Because, you know, I mean, it's very easy for somebody like you to think, oh, Daniel trained, he must be like, Wellington really loves it. Not always. Anything that I have a little bit of thing about, there's always some... bad. They're not all good in everything, you see. That I do, you know. I think with me, it's more like certain. I'm only interested in certain like, aspects of life, shall we say?
Right.
It's just certain aspects of life, either to me a turn on or a complete turn off. And you know, not everything, let's say, transport related is really always that good for me.
Oh.
Sometimes I get pissed off with it, like you do with the roads.
Well, I thought you just sat there with your little notebook taking notes of these things.
No, I've never had to know anything at all. Everything I've known about.
Why haven't these train spotters, you know, moved with the times and are now taking notes on an iPad? They still turn up with a notepad, a pucker pads.
Well, I've actually realised, Chris, if you want to know, right, I'm going to give you the real thing right now.
Yes.
What's the difference between a train spotter and me? The difference is that one of them will bore the arse off you about facts that they've read in the textbook.
So what's the difference?
Whereas me would bore the arse off you about stuff that I know that has really happened, that I've actually been involved in.
Yes.
Yeah, personal experience, in other
Yeah.
words.
I see what you mean. I think, when we think about it, then most of your calls are really very boring.
Yeah, but at least they're about real experiences.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what they got. But honestly, my calls would be even more boring if I got a book and started reading every little bit of that book word for word, and like as if I'd and making myself sound clever just because
Is
I'd read
that
the.
is that something you'd like to do?
Oh no, I'd rather tell you about personal experience.
I've had a little bit of a trouble with my air conditioning tonight. There's nothing happening. It was on
Oh,
and it was flashing some sort
but
of error message at me. Oh. You carry
well,
on talking, dear. I'm going to get the book out.
There's probably vibes coming in from me. I probably overheated it. I am hot stuff.
Vibe. Who sings that?
Five?
Vibe. Owner's
Vibe.
Manual. Here we are. Owner's Manual.
I've not heard that one.
Vibe. She's got that vibe. Is that R. Kelly, that one?
Oh, yeah, she's got that
vibe. Da, 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 da. That one. Who is it? Chris Reardon.
I don't know. I know the song, but I don't know.
Yes.
It's never exact. Let's face it, it's not all that. If it's not on my phone's MP3 playing system, then it can't be all that
What,
good.
you don't like it?
But, it's all right in its place, but, there is better out there. There's better. The other thing, I actually had a dream about you last night.
Oh, I hope you didn't wake up damp.
No, well, for the first time in my life or in your life, you and Alex Belfield have both been brought together.
I think he's great. Because he tells you how it is.
Yeah,
I really do.
What happened was, I was doing this program called TV Burp. It was some sort of like TV review show of the week, and then there was a clip where you was doing the show now, as it is now, and then Alex Belfield walks in, on it, and then he starts doing one of his bits, and then I turn to the camera and go, oh.
That sounded a bit gay, if you don't mind me saying so. That sounded very gay. I wouldn't hear Mark Bowles do something like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, I say the inevitable words, I like Chris Reardon, but then I like Alex Belfield's. But which is better? There's only one way to find out. Fight!
And then do you have a fight with yourself? Do you find sometimes you wake up and the sheets...
You and Alex Belfield had it out on the floor.
Do you find you wake up sometimes and the sheets and the pillows are all over the place? So you're fighting with yourself in bed?
No, when I'm in bed, I am out. I am well out of it.
Do you go off quickly?
Yeah, do you know, I'm sure if I could never be one of them parents who can get up in the night, and if the child... If a baby was crying in the middle of the night, I would not know.
Oh, what's you going to do? Leave it to die? What a horrible person.
Well, I can't... I just do. I go through.
I don't think my nephew realises what's about to hit him, when they have their little boy. I said to his girlfriend the other day, I said, did you sleep well last night? And she's like, yeah, why? I said, well, get it while you can, my love. They've been 3 o'clock in the morning, it wants some bitty. Dear me. Someone has to get up, dear, and I can't see it being my nephew somehow. I'm sure he'd be a good dad. He'd be a wonderful dad. My other nephew's a good dad.
He was talking about asking this morning about outlook on death over obviously the funeral from yesterday.
Yes.
Well, I mean, obviously we discussed. It's the strange thing is we need more burials in this family. Do you know everyone so far in this family throughout the generations has all been cremated?
Are you talking about your family? Are you?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about anyone else's family. I met them.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Everyone's gone through the cremation period, and I think we need to have a little change. In fact, I think the whole thing of funerals needs to change.
Are you thinking about being buried then? You'll need one of those double-sized holes for you, won't you?
The amount of weight I'm putting on now, I think, yeah.
Blimey.
I have become. I used to be some like anorexic stick insects.
Yeah. I mean, when Gemma
And
Collins
now I'm gone the opposite.
when Gemma Collins goes, they won't actually have to make a hole for her. They can just put her on there and she'll sink on her own, won't she? Just like her career. Just like her bleeding career, dear. Aren't we awful, eh?
I think you could write your own book, Chris. It'll be called the Gemma Collins Joke Book. By Chris Reardon. There'll be that one. There'll be the one you did back in about September, October last year, about when you're going to have 5 people at a wedding or funeral, except if it's Gemma Collins, because wherever she goes, she just counts as those 5 people.
I don't none of this is prepared. It just comes out of my mouth. Usually I end up upsetting someone, one of the lefties, but it don't bother me really. I just carry on. I don't really listen to them anymore.
Here in Elm Park, the corner from my mum's gaff, they've actually opened the first ever fish shop for
fish?
New millennial snowflakes.
A fish shop for millennial snowflakes. Go on.
Yeah, it's they don't serve much fish and chips, but they do serve a load of wallies.
Very good, dear. Now, you don't see the snowflakes in fish and chip shops. The fat's too hot for them. They'd all melt, dear. They're always queuing up in the places at McDonald's and start complaining when they're not served within 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, McDonald's.
Wow. Anyway,
there's some comedian years. It might have been Brian Conley. I don't know. Who said that? Brian Conley or someone. Yeah, when I was a kid, I'm sure there was someone did this joke about McDonald's that all the tills are made by Fisher Price or something along those lines.
Oh, do you know you've made me yawn? I don't usually yawn on the programme, Daniel. I just yawned then. Isn't that awful? You don't see Hugh Edwards doing that, do you?
No, I'm beginning to wonder, Chris, if you've passed it to me now.
Well, I think you're making yourself yawn now. Go and have a little rest here.
Well, because what's happened is my mum's got me these new
Crocs. So she got you a pair of Crocs.
Hay fever remedies. Tablets.
Oh, you've got the drowsy ones, have you?
Well, yeah, because yesterday I had one about 4, and by 8 o'clock I went through the whole of Alex Belfield's last night, just lying there. I didn't even I knew the show was on, but I just couldn't grasp the candle of it.
Franz just said his court case has been postponed again.
Has it?
Apparently so. They keep doing that.
If that's all a bit of a...
I don't think they've got anything on him. I honestly don't think they've got anything on him. I can't wait to hear all these names that he's going to tell us. I really can't.
Yeah, I'm wondering either it's fake or has somebody faked it somewhere down the line.
It could be, couldn't it?
Yeah, people. It's jealousy. Jealousy of somebody can.
Because he's doing very well.
People there's a load of people at the BBC who can't get it in their heads that we're living in 2021.
300,000 odd subscribers he's got. I can only dream of such numbers.
Yeah,
we may be lucky in about 20 years' time to get to 2,000.
Yeah, well, you could always extend United Kingdom talk into a huge, well, I don't know about global, but certainly national franchise, you know. if that's what, I don't know.
Oh,
franchise,
come on,
yeah.
I'm not mass appeal.
You could actually have you as like the new Tom Edwards.
I'm afraid I'm
linking all these bits.
I'm not mass appeal, Dan. That's just how it is. And we accept that and we carry on, dear. Not mass appeal.
Yeah. Perhaps it might be better just 30 people who are good rather than 60 people are for which
who
are
are moaning all the time. Thank you for your call tonight, Daniel.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheerio. Hello to your mum as well there. Daniel, always a good call from Daniel, isn't it? Adrian, when was the last time you performed as a professional DJ, did you say? Oh my God, blimey. I don't know, 2012, something like that. You see, what I do at Central Station, that's not really DJing. That's more hosting, isn't it? Ollie says, don't worry, Chris, you've been replaced by a world-class DJ named Ollie K. Soon to be involved in mobile discos with JK, that's his dad, in 2 years if he doesn't hang up the headphones when I embarrass him. I bet you were very good in your day. Well, I won a few awards, actually. Yeah, I did. I got a few certificates and things like that. I loved it. I was a 90s DJ. I really was. I was an 80s and a 90s DJ. That was my time. I carried on after that, don't get me wrong, but my busiest period where I was turning work down, I was getting so much of it, was the 80s and the 90s. And I had a whale of a time, don't get me wrong. I really, really had a good time doing that. Ollie says, I would be called How to Take the Mic Out of Gemma Collins with Chris Reardon. Chris Reardon. Oh, you're do that thing in there when I do that, didn't I? I never did anything like that. I just mixed the songs together. I didn't muck around with beats or anything like that. I literally, one song would finish and the other song would be mixed into it seamlessly. I do have, I don't know if I've got any music mixes here. I could send you perhaps, Ollie. Don't know if I've still got those. I gave a lot of them away to someone years ago, and they were just taking up so much space and I didn't want them anymore. Beat match. Let's have a look there. Oh, I have got a few. Do you want me to send you one? Are you on Facebook? Let me see. I'm just going to have a listen to something, but you can't hear it, right? Otherwise, I'll get copyright issues. Just a minute now. Yeah, I could send you. I used to do this mix, and I turned it into a radio show called Beat Match, which was just like one long mix, which I said hello at the beginning and goodbye at the end. I could send you one of those if you want to, Ollie, on the Facebook. Actually, I think you're on that. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can send it to you on Facebook. Actually, I might have to upload it to Dropbox. Have you got Dropbox? Ollie K. There we are. I don't know if this will work or not. Let me try and send you one. See what happens. No, too large. I'll have to upload it to my Dropbox and send you a link, Ollie, at some point, all right? And you can have a listen. But they are like 10, 20, 11 years old, so the music will be quite old. But it will be all the club-type music, and you'll get an idea of the sort of stuff that I used to play. All right, there. Good. So that's that. Now, what else have we done today? Gear Bond. How do you think prisons should be? And we often think to ourselves that they're like pretty comfortable places or something like that. That's all right, Ollie. I'll put it up there and I'll send you a link to it and you'll be able to get it from there, all right? Yeah, prisons, we always imagine they're sort of very comfortable places, don't we, for some reason? You know, we see these stories about prisoners having televisions and all this, that and the other, get free course meals and what have you. But what do you think of this? Some people would say, well, prisons can't be too tough because you're supposed to be re-educating the prisoners into being nice people, and you can't really do that if the prisons are too horrible. But the Daily Star is reporting this lady, British socialite. Now, what is a socialite? Is that someone that just goes around and socialises with people, isn't it? They don't actually meet. They don't actually have a job. Their thing is to go round and they get all these freebies and all this. Anyway, British socialite in the Daily Star. Jasmine Harton is currently locked up in a scorpion-infested jail in Belize. Here are some of the other toughest and roughest prisons in the world. And there was a TV show, it might have been on Channel 5 actually, and they were talking about the world's toughest prisons. It was quite a good programme, actually. Really good programme. Anyway, she's accused of shooting dead a policeman, Henry Gemot, on Belize Island, on the island. She reportedly not been visited in the central prison by her family since she was arrested almost 2 weeks ago. That may have helped take her mind off the hellish conditions she now finds herself living in. What do you think about this as a prison? The notorious jail is supposedly infested with scorpions. House members of rival gangs who have bloody battles inside, and the inmates are fed fly-ridden pig's heads. Not the sort of place I want to be, I don't think. I don't know what it's like. I've never been in a prison. Maybe you have you? Maybe one or two of you have been in a prison. We don't judge, if you have. What was it like? What was it like? The notorious jail is supposedly infested with scorpions. As I say, while Belize Central Prison will be a world away from the conditions Hartin will be used to, it's by no means the roughest prison in the world. Here are a few of the worst. So have a listen to this lot. There's one place in Venezuela, Sabaneta Prison, it's called. It says Venezuela has one of the highest murder rates in the world, so perhaps it's not a surprise that the country's prisons are among the most violent in the world. It was hideously overcrowded, at one point housing 3,700 people in a space built for around 700. This led to a prisoner guard ratio of around 150 to 1. Wow. Consequently, the inmates were very much in charge. They maintained their own kind of order in the form of a gang-controlled hierarchy. You see, this is the thing, it's just a horrible thing. If you watch that programme I mentioned to you, Time, which is on the iPlayer, and I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I've mentioned it a few times now. That's on there now. It's it's a drama, 3 of them. It's about this 50-year-old bloke and he goes into prison for the first time and how it all seems to work in there. It says if prisoners wanted to drink, this is the place in Venezuela, they had to drink straight from the corroded bathroom pipes. The war between rival gangs led to the beheading and dismemberment of several inmates, and prison riots were par for the course. In 1994, a riot broke out, with inmates then starting a riot. It's claimed that as many as 150 people died in the incident, and in 2013 alone there were 69 prisoners killed when the jail was eventually shut down. Someone said it was the gateway to the 5th circle of hell. Is this how our prisons should be, perhaps? I mean, we don't have scorpions here or anything like that, but do you see what I mean? I don't know. There's another one here, Paraguay, Tagumbu Prison. Similar story there, overcrowding, horrific overcrowding. Some of South America's most dangerous criminals providing a bad combination. 3,000 prisoners are locked up in a jail supposed to hold 1,500. Riots are common in prison, with many forced to sleep on the floor due to the cramped conditions. The conditions are so bad that some of the inmates have taken to extreme measures in a bid to improve the situation or move out to another jail. As well as going on hunger strikes, some prisoners sew their mouths shut so they can't be forced to eat the shocking food in a gruesome act of defiance. I wonder what the food is like then. There's even been reports of a child abuse ring inside the jail, while former prison director reckons many inmates use children who visit them to smuggle drugs inside of them. Wow. And Thailand. Now, I've seen one on Thailand, I think in that Channel 5 programme I was telling you about. Ban Quang Prison in Bangkok. I mean, that Bangkok, I think, I think I'd like to go to Bangkok, but I really don't think I'd like it. Oh my God, there's so many people there. All hours. I was watching, funnily enough, I was watching a YouTube video this morning. The sights of Bangkok, and this bloke sitting in a bar, and just, it's like midnight and all these food things are going on. I don't know. It says another prison that is shockingly overcrowded is Bang Kwang. known as the Bangkok Hilton. It houses Thailand's death row chamber, with around 10% of the 8,000 prisoners awaiting the death penalty, and each of those inmates has shackles welded to their legs. 1 meal a day is served to the prisoners, a bowl of rice and soup. Other food is available through the jail canteen, although the poor inmates have to work for the wealthier prisoners to be able to afford what is on offer. Bang Kwang is infested with rats and riddled with violence. Wow. I mean, but surely that must stop people committing these crimes. But then when you look at the numbers of the people in these places, maybe not. Maybe not. British woman Judith Payne said she was attacked by prisoners who tried to steal her diamond earrings and observed guards being mentally ill and elderly prisoners with sticks. Most prisoners are malnourished and diseased thanks to the lack of running water and a terrible sewage system. Drug sentences are much stiffer than murder. Someone British, Jonathan Wheeler, was sentenced to 50 years in jail for smuggling heroin before he was eventually released after serving 18 years. He told of a local who was released after 11 years after shooting and butchering his wife, adding life is so cheap there that drug sentences are worse than murder. And it goes on. Gosh. It's absolutely horrific, some of these places, don't they? Eh? We've got another one here. One in Russia. Petak Island in Russia. Petak. P-E-T-A-K. Petak. Good luck trying to escape from Petak Island prison in Russia. It's surrounded by the freezing waters of White Lake. Former head guard once said, if they dig, they hit water. If they try and swim, the guards will shoot them. The prison is in a remote village in Vologda in Russia. It's just as well that it's very inaccessible because prisoners are often only allowed 2 visitors a year. There's no toilets, no proper washing facilities, and inmates spend 22 and a half hours a day inside a cramped cell. The shocking sanitation conditions are responsible for the rampant spread of diseases such as tuberculosis within the prison. The place destroys people the first 9 months or so they spend adapting. After 3 or 4 years, their personalities begin to deteriorate. There's no way anyone can spend 25 years in a place like that without being psychologically destroyed. So, I mean, and there are others mentioned in this. There's another couple there. Daniel Prison, Honduras. Now, I've been to Honduras. Only for a couple of hours. Was on a cruise ship and we got off at Honduras. And I felt very uneasy walking around there. Got off this boat, and as we got off the boat, the level was there. There was the boat, and right up there is a wall, very high up. And on this wall, I kid you not, soldiers with guns looking down on us, and we looked up, and they kind of waved to us. But you're thinking, what sort of place is this that they need soldiers with guns protecting the people coming off the boats? They're there for our benefit. Obviously the country wants the tourists to come and spend their money. The boat, the airline, the liner will pay the country an amount of money to stop there. They want the money. And anyway, me and my mate, we got into this chat. Where do you want to go? Well, take us into town. Okay. So we paid $30. Well, I tell you what, he drove us around the corner. As this car, we closed the door and the handle came off. It was like that. It was awful. And when we got out, he wanted to buy some sauces for his mother. I don't know. So we went into this town. We'd been taken to take off anything that's shiny, so we did. And I felt so unsafe there. It was unbelievable. Honduras. Anyone been there? We renamed it Horrendous. Everyone was just looking as we walked along. I couldn't wait to get back to the boat. The Honduras prison, what was it called? Danley Prison. It says, perhaps not surprisingly for a Dow, this is in the Daily Star, situated in the world's murder capital. It's the murder capital of the world. It's an institution riddled with violence, considered so dangerous that inmates are allowed to force the rules because the prison guards don't want to mess with them. Escapes, drug abuse and corruption are common with riots, and targeted killings are also part of the course. Wow. A report in September 2019 reported that the prison was operating at a staggering 204% capacity. The overcrowding, coupled with the sweltering heat, means disease spreads fast. So very different, of course, to some of the stories that you hear of our prisons. But I wouldn't want to go to a prison. It must be one of the most unpleasant things. Watch that thing I told you about, Time, on the BBC iPlayer. All right. Good evening to Vera. Evening, Vera, who's just got home from work. And Vera sent me in this picture that I accidentally showed you right at the beginning of the show today. Check this out. I've got chocolate now. Look, someone is making chocolate especially for me. Thank you very much, Vera. Did you find a bar with Vera on it? That is the question. I must order at least 800 bars immediately, I think. I'm liking the look of that. Honestly, it's anything to try and sell a few more items, isn't it? They try everything to get you to buy a few more items, don't they? Thank you very much for that, Vera. Sent me a little message in with that. Look what I found. Thank you, Vera. Alrighty. The next thing. People will start stealing from us all. What do you think it's going to be? Hey, we've had the mobile phones, this, that and the other. And I knew this was going to come up at some point. I don't have one yet. My mate's got a part electric car. I have a hybrid car, which means you don't plug it in. It's self-charging as it goes along. Some people now have hybrid cars up, they're plug-in ones, but they're not fully electric. Right, so they plug in, I don't know, they get 30 miles, 40 miles out of the charge. And then you've got the fully electric ones, of course, that will do 150 miles, or the really expensive ones, the Tesla ones, 350 miles on a charge, something like that, which is fantastic. But I've always looked at these cables and I thought, how easy are they to nick? And in the Daily Mail, here we go. Concerns. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. It was just so obvious. Concerns are growing that a new type of car crime could hit the streets in Britain as thieves target the nation's growing number of electric vehicle owners. But it's not the cars. A number of reports have suggested there has already been a spike in cases of electric vehicle drivers having their charging cables stolen. The leads used to plug into a wall box, public device or the mains to replenish the batteries in their cars. Crafty thieves are fully aware of their value and the worth of the metals inside the cables. These cables are expensive. I don't know how they get away with charging the amount they charge for a piece of wire. Now, we've seen this with HDMI cables. People they go to Curry's and they buy a new telly or something like that. And, have you got any HDMI? You want the best ones we've got are these gold ones. And they're like £100 for a bleeding HDMI. Listen, you don't need it. You cannot. Digital is digital. It makes no difference the quality of the cable. You can get a cable for $5.99, will do exactly the same job as Curry's try and sell you one for 50, 60, 70 quid. Don't waste your money on gold-plated cables. Once it's plugged in, that's it. You're never really going to move it. It's fine. The gold one will not work any better than the one that's cost you $5.99 off the Amazon. All right? I don't know how they get away with it. Mugs are buying this because people don't know. I know a little bit about computers, audio, visual stuff, so I know, you see. But when it comes to cars, lift up the bonnet, yeah, you need this, okay, mate. I don't know what they're doing. No idea. And it's similar with people, they don't know about these cables and things. But I happen to know that the car cables are really expensive. My mate's got a Mini, he's got a charging cable, £140. £140 for cable. The story goes on. Many drivers leave the leads unattended while they charge during the day and night. You know, they plug into their wall, plug the other thing into their car and go to bed. Well, you would, wouldn't you? What are you going to do? Sit there and watch the damn thing all night long? Many drivers leave the leads unattended while they charge during the day and night or when their vehicles aren't plugged in. Criminals are snatching them and making away with the valuable cords that are worth around £200 each, some of these cables. £200 for a cable. It comes as drivers of petrol cars continue to fall victim to the spate of catalytic converters, because they're nicking those off cars as well. The catalytic converter under the car, and it's very quick. You would be surprised how quickly they can nick one of those. Bloke comes on, jacks your car up underneath a type thing, soaring away, and off they go. Thefts have been spreading across the country in the last couple of years, which in the worst case are writing off perfectly good vehicles. I don't know why they can't repair them. Maybe there's some reason for that. Rubbish removal company Divert.co.uk has warned that electric vehicle owners should not leave an electric charging cable outside of their home, as they've become the new target of scrap metal thieves on the hunt for copper. Copper is extremely valuable. Any metal is. Well, I know that for a fact. You remember when I got rid of my old oven? I thought, I've got to take this down the tip. And my nephew said, put it on Amazon Facebook, oven free for collection. Broken. You'll get a dealer pick it up for the metal. I put it on the Facebook. My God, they were with me. They were round here in half an hour. Fat bloke come round in half an hour. There you go, mate. Okay, take that away. Thank you. Bye. Couldn't wait to get it, because they know someone else would have seen it and they would have got it, you see. Car chargers are particularly appealing to thieves because they can be sold for up to £200. The actual charger. They're stealing them everywhere. eBay, Facebook and to dodgy scrap dealers, said the company spokesman Mark Hall. And they can be pretty costly and inconvenient for you to replace, so it's best to keep it locked away from the crooks. So they're now nicking the wires. The way I understood it, although I haven't seen how my mate does it, I thought when you put that thing on the car, it locked to the car and you couldn't get it off. That being said, my front door's locked downstairs. If someone really wants to get in, they can, as you well know. You know, it's not exactly full. I like to think I'm pretty good with the security. Alarm, double gates, everything's locked. But if someone really wants to get in and they're a professional, all right, it might stop the kids down the road getting in, my locks and doors. Yeah, probably will. They won't be able to get through. But someone professional who really wanted to get in, they would be able to get in. Maybe it's the same with these cables. You know, a kid couldn't come along. When I say a kid, I don't necessarily mean a young person. Someone inexperienced would probably, oh no, that won't come off. I'll walk on. And someone else, perhaps with some sort of clever device, would be able to take that lead off and nick it, and then you've lost £200 worth of cable there, don't you? Dreadful. Dreadful. Don't forget, gang, if you're in the chat box and you're trying to send me a message on there, I'm not in the chat box, you need to send us a text, please. 07451 287 337 is my text number, or you can do an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. 200 quid cables are being stolen now. I mean, I don't know how you would make that more secure, really. I mean, you've got to charge the car up. And you can't sit there all night and look at the cable to make sure no one nicks it, can you? Huh? And it's the same with the catalytic converter. Can that be made any safer? Catalytic converters? I mean, the thing is literally just under the car, isn't it? Can you put a frame around it or something? Then that's more expensive, isn't it? Mind you, they got the old car radio thing sussed, didn't they, years ago? Do you remember the car radios used to get nicked? You'd get a really bog standard car radio, very tinny. All the lads, including myself, we'd go out and buy a decent stereo system, put it in, and then 2 weeks later it'd be nicked out your car. And then you got the portable ones, didn't you? The ones you could pull them out and take them with you. And you'd lose those somewhere. But the car manufacturers got on top of this, and they now have the radio and very, very decent sound systems in most cars now. Not like they used to be. One speaker at the bottom of the radio, weren't it? Huh? Plus, you couldn't get reach on air on it. How terrible was that? We could sit in the front. It was all tinny. Now most cars have got in really decent sound systems. And it's built into the dashboard. You can't nick it. You have to nick the entire dashboard. I expect that happens. I bet people come in and nick entire dashboards. You couldn't exactly run off with it, could you? You know, you'd have to have it would be a professional doing something like that. And again with the wheel locks and all that business, you know, the wheel locks, you don't need a thing on it. It just locks. And the thing where you can't start the car without a little magnetic thing. I don't know what it is. You know, to stop it moving. What's that called? What do you need to stop the car moving? I know mine. If my keys are not in my car, if someone, say for example, you know, if I had my keys in my pocket and I'm at the petrol station and for some reason I haven't turned the car off, someone jumped in it and drove off, they wouldn't get very far because the moment my key is not near the car, it would just stop. So maybe they can find a way of keeping those very expensive catalytic converters safe as well. I don't know how that works there. Dreadful, really. Adrian, he's been to Havana in Cuba. Okay. I found it uncomfortable. Yeah, I was really uncomfortable in Honduras. Really. And we stopped at Jamaica as well. I felt much more uncomfortable in Honduras than I did in Jamaica. Again, only for a little while, a couple of hours at the most, you know, when the boat stopped there. I've been to Havana in Cuba. It was a bit uncomfortable, I must say. Visiting there interesting instead of for 3 days. They like chess, trade charging Westerners, Western prices for drinks, food, and all I had was lobster over there in Hemingway's restaurant. Quite expensive for what it was. Oh, I don't know how anyone can eat lobster. Cracking those things open. Ooh. He says, I don't think you need to worry about anything breaking in. I think you're more concerned about letting him get out of your house. No one's been nicking his cat litter, converting into anything. Cat litter. No one is nicking my cat litter. No, dear. Catalytic converter. No one's nicking my cat litter. Oh, I like that. All righty, boys and girls. We're going to disappear here. Thank you very much for joining us on the show tonight. There'll be another show for you on Sunday night at 8 o'clock on this channel. Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Now, my dear friend... no, it's not on tonight, is it? Because it's Thursday. I'll be back with you on Reach on Air tomorrow morning. Look, it's already set up. Friday morning. If you go and find me on Reach on Air, use your smart speaker or just go to reachonair.com and you can listen there. If you want to hear today's show, that's up there as well. Just go to reachonair.com. Along the top, hover over schedule, and underneath schedule will come replay. And you'll be presented with a list of dates and some arrows going backwards and forwards. Just go on there and you can listen to the show that was on earlier on this morning. If not, I'll see you on there tomorrow morning just after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for your messages. Can you just hit the thumbs up button, the like button on your way up? And that'll be very much appreciated, my darlings. Okay, and I'll see you again on this channel on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Anyone want to come to the karaoke tomorrow? Have I got a karaoke thing? I haven't got a karaoke thing on here. No, that's at Central Station tomorrow, 7:30. Wish me luck driving into London. I might even leave earlier tomorrow, like 4:15 for 6:30. Seriously, for 6:30. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Thanks for watching and listening. Cheerio.